In a game full of tryhards, snipers, and knifers, Slade, that's me, and a few of my friends try to help you to become the best knifer you can be in Slade's Knifing Survival Guide. Your results may vary. What's going on, guys? Slade by Blade here, coming at you with another episode of my Knifing Survival Guide, and this time we're going to be diving into Ghost for the very first time, and I'm going to be giving you guys some tips that I've developed over the first couple of days of playing the game, and hopefully you guys will apply these and be able to enjoy the game a little bit more, because it was a rocky start for me, but after using some of the tips that I'm going to mention in this video, it started really panning out, and I've been going positive a lot more often and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Just like in my Black Ops 2 survival guide, the first tip I want to give you guys is to decide which knife you want to use. And in Ghost, there's pretty much 3 options. 2 of them are very similar, but it's still important to notice the pros and cons of each. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the combat knife, and we'll just take it from there. Combat knife is just like it is in Black Ops 2. It's just a knife. You don't have any other kind of weapon out, but it's way slower, like extremely slow. Your first animation is going to be kind of like a punch and grab sort of deal, and it takes up a lot of time. And there's also a more rare but second animation where you just kind of swipe, but that only happens during occasions where they're like out of your reach or you're jumping or something. And honestly, I think the combat knife would be a lot better if the only animation was the swipe, but it was just as accurate as the grab and stab, which is your more prominent animation. And another thing to keep in mind whenever using your combat knife is that you're not going to have a crosshair whenever you're throwing knives. However, if you play Black Ops 2 a decent amount, I'm pretty sure you'd probably be used to that by now. So if that's the knife you want to use, I would say go for it, because a lot of people are probably used to it after the Black Ops 2 days. Your next knifing option would be to run around with just the pistol and no TAC knife. You're going to have the exact same animations that you would have if you were using the combat knife. You're going to have that grab and stab, and you're also going to have that swiping animation in case somebody's above you or you're jumping or something like that. And when I say exact same, I do mean exact same. I'll give you guys a side-by-side comparison, but they're also like the exact same speed, and that's important to realize because that paired with also having a crosshair to aim your throwing knives, it really does just make it an upgraded version of the combat knife. So I'm not really sure why anybody would want to run around with the combat knife instead of the pistol alone, because you'll be able to aim those throwing knives a lot quicker and you'll still have the same knifing speed and animations that you would just using the combat knife. And your last knifing option would be the TAC knife, and as you can see, I have the 44 Magnum TAC knife equipped, which has been confirmed by Bex to be the fastest in the game. She did a really good in-depth video on all the speeds of the different TAC knives, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave her link in the description. And as far as the animation goes, it's only one. I mean, it's been pretty regular throughout the CoD series. Your TAC knife just does one stabbing motion, and I'll admit the TAC knife does actually miss every once in a while, but it's not like Black Ops 2 where you're constantly wondering whether or not you're going to get that kill. You just need to be aiming correctly, otherwise you might get the short end of the stick every once in a while. And obviously that final pro of the TAC knife would be that you also have the crosshair to aim those throwing knives. So overall, I'd go with the TAC knife. That's what I've been running, and I've been doing decent, but you know, it's entirely up to you guys. I'm just trying to give you guys that information so you can make a good decision. My next tip is going to be a perk combo that I feel has really changed the game once I got both those perks on my class. I feel like Dead Silence and Off the Grid has really made the game a lot more playable, because before I had those two, people were hearing my footsteps, which were so loud, and they were aiming down sights, catching me before I was even coming through the doors. Everybody was prepared, either seeing me on the radar or just hearing me coming from a mile away. But once you put those two perks on, people are just like, I mean, they're oblivious to what's going on. I'm catching people coming through doors, nobody's ready for you, and I mean, that's the whole element of surprise, and you really need that whenever you're trying to get in all those close quarter situations. So definitely really think it would help out, and nice little streak that I got there, and that was once I got those two perks down, and I mean, just people weren't expecting me is what I'm saying. And then my third and final tip is also a question: do we really need strong arm? Because when you look at them side by side, it really doesn't seem to make that big of a difference, unless I'm misunderstanding something, because I had a friend stand on a flat area with me, and I would aim the throwing knife directly at their head each time to get the same kind of like angle going, and then I would have them stand as far away as they could until I couldn't hit them with the throwing knife anymore, and then I left the dead bodies as markers. And whenever you see the throw with strong arm and you see the throw without strong arm as side by side comparisons, and you actually look at where the two bodies are, they're extremely close together. And maybe I don't know if I'm understanding this perk correctly, because that doesn't seem like a big enough difference to even equip it. Like, these guys were standing maybe 5 feet away from each other, and that was the difference between strong arm and not having strong arm equipped. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't think I'm going to be equipping this perk anymore, because I can just aim a little bit higher if I need to hit somebody that's farther away. I don't need that extra 5 feet to aim at the same angle. That just doesn't make that big of a difference for me personally. But that's the great part about a tip like that. I'm just trying to supply you guys with the information that I gather. If you think that extra 5 feet is what it's going to take to get a throwing knife kill, then use it. If not, then don't equip it. I'm just trying to help you guys out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.